Hello, everyone. My name is Trinity. I'm one of the sponsorship organizers for Hacks'. Thanks for joining us. If you haven't been here since opening, welcome back. Thanks to everyone that came out to our events throughout the weekend. We had some really great panels, workshops. We even hung out with some hackers last night at Club Penguin. So shout out to those hackers. Congrats to everyone who turned in a project. Hopefully you got some sleep. If not, I'm sure it was worth it. Our judges have narrowed down the top 3 projects for each track, and we're going to have some judges live judge our finalists. And so we have 3 judges. Our first one is Rao. Rao is a seasoned technology leader previously at Cisco, IBM, and startups in Seattle, Silicon Valley, and Asia. Most recently, he was a VP at Exnor AI, which was just acquired by Apple. Rao is most experienced in building a business from the ground up, scaling and managing cross-functional teams, and deploying products and services along the topics of ML and AI, data analytics, connected consumer devices, IoT, and knowledge management systems. Thank you for being here, Rao. We're excited to have you. Next, we have Allison, who is a UW alum herself. Go Dogs. She's a COO at Belena, a distributed startup enabling developers to build, deploy, and manage IoT apps. Before that, she was the chief of staff for the founder and CEO of Impossible Foods, a Bay Area startup. She started out her career on the investment team at the UW Investment Management Company, which she helped manage over $5 billion in assets for the UW Endowment. And she's a passion for helping to bring big visions and new technologies to life. So we're really excited to have you here, Allison. Thank you. And last but not least, yeah, of course. Last but not least, we have Ben, who already introduced himself at opening and has been here throughout the weekend. He's a co-founder of Pioneer Square Labs, a startup studio and venture capital fund. He's offered a lot of his time and support, so we're really thankful for you, Ben. Thank you so much for being here. Again, thank you for all the judges. I'm going to pass it off to Taylor, who's going to intro all of our tracks and the finalists who are going to demo.
Hi, I'm Taylor. I'm co-director of Hacks' and super happy to be hosting Hack'20 for you today. I'm super excited for all the people that are going to be presenting today. Congratulations for completing your projects. And also to everyone else who's now presenting, we saw some really cool projects. I think it was hard for the judges to choose. We were looking at all the top scores and trying to narrow them down. So super excited for everyone. We're going to kick off judging with the campus track, which focuses on education and small business and healthcare. For the campus track, our 3 projects presenting in this order will be Crime Predict, Dog Maps, and Mass Detector. So Crime Predict, I'm going to stop screen sharing and turn it over to you guys.
Hello there. I'm David. I'm from Crime Predict, and I wanted to show you guys what we were able to do. So I work with Jinghua and Orion. Orion is currently asleep and catching up right now. And so what we ended up doing and what we tried to solve was some of us are living off campus this year, and we are new to some of the areas around campus. And so something that our parents have been bothering us a lot about is how are we going to stay safe? How are we going to avoid getting mugged, in their words? And how do we stay safe while we travel and explore new places around the city? And so what we did was we created a system which allows us to see and predict crimes throughout the Seattle area. And what we did to do that is we created a neural network that we applied on the past 12 years of crime reports from the Seattle Police Department. And we generate heat maps using all of that information. And we created a front-end UI for viewing the prediction results and viewing the crime maps. And so what I'll show you here is kind of results for what we ended up doing. We took a simple neural network, applied it on time series data, and predicted locations. And so here we actually generated a location for December 21st at 1 a.m. And then here we predicted where crime would occur at the same date on 9 p.m. And then we created a front end that you can use to explore certain dates and stay safe. And that's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Crime Predict. We'll turn it over to the judges right now. Do you guys have any questions?
I guess, yeah, one question is, why did you need to train a neural network versus just looking at, a gigantic relational database of every event and when it happened and using that?
So we wanted to explore kind of using neural networks in a task like this because we didn't really have the time to set up the database and the what I would call the production rules for as predicting new events. And so we hypothesized that using a neural network, there's a narrow band between overfitting and underfitting where we might be able to have some sort of useful information.
Got it. Others?
So who could be the end users other than students? You think there's going to be other subset of users who could be finding it interesting?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think if we were to develop this app further, we could absolutely, people that are new to a city for the first time and want to stay safe when they're out exploring the city and just walking around, it might be useful for them so that they know at what time they should avoid certain places. And if we would expand it even further, we could even make a real-time app that gives warnings to people if they're out exploring and they do happen to be somewhere that is that might be unsafe at that time.
Okay, so is it going to be mostly for societal benefit? So you're not anticipating any commercial use for this?
Commercial use? I don't know off the top of my head right now.
That is associated with the UW as well, because as we know, the UW is a huge school in the Pacific Northwest region, and also there are students coming in from all over WA, and I'm pretty sure for students coming from all parts of Washington State, like campus safety and also like safety concerns while commuting would be a huge factor during especially like the period we're living in right now, with all these presidential elections coming up and with everything being so fluid. And I believe that these potential psychological effects, like reassuring our students, our parents, and also like for an innovative hub like Seattle, I believe this reassuring effect and the potential of our app to highlight are always like untackled area, which is safety, campus safety, and also safety within the larger Seattle area would be quintessential to the long-term development of the city and of like the school as well.
Okay,
go ahead. Any other questions?
Yeah, getting to the original thing that led you to create this idea in the first place. Would this satisfy your parents and for them to believe that you now have a mechanism to know where is safe or not based on your intuitive interpretation of the data that it spits out?
So growing up, my parents have always been very numbers oriented, and they've always been one that if I could provide the numbers for them, that they would be more likely to trust me and believe me. And I think this is something that they would put a little bit of faith in.
Yeah, and for me, I'm an international student, and also literally the first thing my parents are gonna check before they agree to let me, for example, lease a house near campus would be the statistics. And from time to time, either we have those meta statistics, metadata about the grant area, which is not really convincing because they would like more up to date and more like those are more prevalent to the area or the block I'm living in. And also, I believe the more specific the data sets becomes and the more updated it is, and also especially a user-friendly front-end website like this would be more convincing for like students and parents alike from all over the world, to ensure them that safety is a huge concern here. Not a huge concern, but safety and precautions for students' welfares and students' well-beings are being tackled here.
Okay, that was awesome to hear. Thank you so much. Thank you, Crime Predict, for like being first and kicking us off. We're gonna move on to the next team, which is Dog Maps. You guys can go ahead and screen share and start.
All right, can y'all see that?
Yes, we can see.
Great. Evan, if you want to start us off?
Sure. So our project was dog maps, and we're all freshmen at the University of Washington.
All right. In the midst of a global pandemic, safely returning to campus means responsibly social distancing and avoiding large crowds. And in pursuit of that, we present dog maps.
Now, dog maps help students navigate campus and engage with campus facilities and businesses while respecting social distancing guidelines. So the idea is before going somewhere, users can search for the places that they're going to go beforehand, and they can check the population density heat maps to make sure they can avoid the crowds.
So Dog Maps creates a real-time database of anonymized user locations, and then the web app uses this database to build and render a heat map of the user's surroundings, highlighting the large clouds that the user should avoid. And if the enter uses a densely populated area, as shown in the previous slide, the app would remind and send a notification to the user to wear a mask.
Yeah, and the mobile app will request the user for their location, and then it'll periodically send that update to the database in the background. And we wanted to have this app access or available to a wide demographic of users. So we both have a native app and a web app where you can access it from any platform.
So as an example, this is the web app that's currently pulling data live real time from some mock data that we've entered into our database. So as you can see, we have a low density area on East Campus, and then a couple high density spots near the fountain, in the hub. And just this is what someone who pulled up the website would see, and they could know that there are large groups of people in this place, and that's how they know how to avoid these places. And as we mentioned, this web app is also available on the native app. And so this is a view of the native Android app that we built. So here you can see it's the same view that you can scroll and just look through all the different things. And you can actually also search. So if I wanted to search for the Husky engineer, I forget what it's called, sorry, Paul Allen. And that pulls this up. And then it re-renders the heat map. And then so you can search for any location before you're going there. It pulls the map to that position. You can see the population density around that place. And that's Dog Maps. And thank you for watching our presentation.
Thank you, Dog Maps. Judges, do you want to ask one question?
Yeah,
I was curious. Oh, go ahead, Ben.
Nope, go for it.
I was curious, since you populated the database initially with kind of just test data, did you start thinking about how you would get data from phones, and did you start exploring how that would work technically, or would that be like a next step, and how you would get people to sign up and what that whole end user flow would look like?
So currently we plan to get data just from our phone app and by recording locations of the users of the native app. But as a future project, we were hoping to partner with the UW. UW has a location
the contact tracing app.
The contact tracing app, and we were hoping to partner with them and add functionality so that we can transmit locations, the data from the contact tracing app to our database.
Yeah, and we were also maybe thinking that we could try to get users that weren't necessarily having the native app downloaded, maybe potentially by pinging from cell towers to check like how many cell phone users are in a certain area. That way we could get more data with like a less number of users.
Cool, thanks.
I have one. Did you build both the web client and the mobile client over the weekend?
Yes,
and if
we
so,
did.
how did you make the decision to do both of those? Like that's awesome.
I'm sorry.
It's a lot of work.
The native app we needed a way to record data of recurring location data from where the users are, and a website can't really do that because it would have to be open all the time. So we knew that we needed our software running on people's mobile devices to show that data. And we figured since we want this data to be as accessible as possible, the best platform to do that on is the web app. And actually the UI you see in the native app is really just the web app. It's just rendering that content into the native app. But because we can duplicate that effort, it reduces a lot of code duplication. So all the native app code is just location logging, notification stuff, and all the UI stuff is just one singular code base, which is the web app.
Got it. Thank you.
Rao, did you have anything you want to ask? Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Doug Maps. Mass detector is our last one for the campus track.
Hello, my name is Albert, and Jacob will be running the mass detector demo today. Our team also included fellow freshmen Ian and Tyler and a sophomore named Hugo, but they should be catching up on sleep right now. So one of the biggest concerns that's on all of our minds as students begin to return to campus is the risk of COVID-19 spreading across the student body. As we know, wearing a face mask is one of the best ways to protect yourself and those around you, reducing exposure to oneself and transmittance to others. To help with this issue, we've created Mass Detector, which takes in an image and identifies whether or not that image contains a picture of someone wearing a mask or not wearing a mask. We use the Google Cloud AutoML Vision API to train a machine learning model. Here we have a concept of our website, which takes in a picture and unfortunately does not work with our API call at this moment. Sad face. But what we can show is a working model our working ML model on the Google Cloud platform. So we can enter images like so, and the model returns the result. So the application for a campus would include taking a snapshot at a given point to conduct statistical analysis on how many people are wearing a mask at a certain time and certain place, as well as surveillance, real-time surveillance for allowing students into a classroom space. This was our team's very first hackathon, and we had a lot of fun working on this project and tackling some of these languages and frameworks for the very first time. Thank you so much for your time, and we'd love to hear your feedback.
I have a quick question. You mentioned a couple of use cases there briefly, but did you think about who might your end user be and what they might use this information for and how they would interact with your app?
Yeah, so we had a couple possible or potential extensions of our app. We were thinking for one obvious potential applications into like surveillance and security. For instance, you could have like you could implement this into like a security camera for your home or a surveillance camera for local businesses or a school, and you could detect whether or not people are wearing masks or not. Another thing we thought about was we could use it as a potential like a data collection tool for collecting like reliable and large amounts of data very quickly. Because, for instance, if you took a traffic cam or a surveillance cam, you could collect data about how many people are wearing masks and how many people are wearing masks and of a given population. So something similar to like random sampling, and we could do statistical analysis from that. And then our last possible application is into maybe like facial recognition obviously it's maybe a little bit ambitious, but as a stepping stone, we were thinking this could possibly lead into technologies that can recognize people with and without face coverings, which has applications beyond just like things like small things like face unlock. Because, for instance, in the criminal justice system, perhaps there's thieves wearing face coverings, and this technology could potentially like help identify people who are trying to hide their identity.
Thank you. Questions from any other judges?
No.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much, Mass Detector. Thank you for all of Campus Track. It's super cool to hear that. We're going to be moving on to our next track. Oh, yeah, we can do a round of applause here. I was trying to figure out where we can squeeze that in. Thank you. All right, our identity track is next. So identity track is focusing on representation and allyship and kind of the recent events that have been going on in 2020. For the identity track, we'll have Ally Space, Black-owned business Chrome extension, and protest app in that order. So Ally Space, you're up first. Go ahead and start screen sharing.
Okay, hello everyone, and thank you for attending our presentation on our application Ally Space. We're trying to improve inclusivity as far as language used online regarding vocabulary, semantics, and syntax.
For our first pillar, inclusive language, we decided to focus on vocabulary. Ally accounts for these impacted words by parsing through the input text and replacing words with more inclusive and appropriate counterparts. Terms we look to replace fall under the categories of race, gender, and ability. An example is, her work benefited mankind. Ally fixed this sentence to, her work benefited humankind, creating rhetoric that now celebrates all gender.
Second pillar we tackled was sentiment. One of Google Cloud's NLP APIs is sentiment analysis. So we were able to obtain a sentiment score from -1 to 1 to represent our inputted text and then color the box accordingly. For example, typing in "she is a miserable friend" gives us a red box. But if we changed that to a positive tone, we would get something that is green, showing the users the impact of overly emotional language.
The final pillar we targeted was syntax. Basically, we wanted to relate negative adjectives to individuals they described. We first determined if people were an entity as a person, and then we determined the sentiment of both their position in the sentence as well as the sentiment of the adjective describing them. An example that's actually very prominent in allyship today is "he is a disabled person." So not only show negative sentiment, but also suggest that you replace it with "person experiencing disability," putting people first.
As you can see, all of these pillars are represented in our UI. Putting all of this together, our next demo is an email that comprises common words used in a workspace or may be sent by a manager. As we can see, this message registers as very negative, signaling to the writer that they should consider changing some of their language. Additionally, it provides ample suggestions allowing the users to make a choice on how to make their writing more inclusive as a whole. In the future, we plan to denote the sentiment for each sentence along with adding inline suggestions. In addition to hosting on our domain ally.space, we hope to create a Chrome extension to make it applicable to text spaces on any platform.
Thank you for listening to our presentation and for helping us make the internet a space for allies and a space for all.
Super fun. I'll ask the commercial viability one this time around. Have you thought about what the use cases are that might enable you to turn this into a business?
I think that there's several use cases, both regarding impact as well as potential for a business. The first use case we thought of originally, as you saw with our demo, was professionalism. And companies have an incentive to motivate professionalism in their environment, because not only does it make their business look good, but it also creates a positive corporate culture, encouraging their employees to do more work. So we could charge in that regard. Another potential application is media, checking articles for media bias. Typically, people want to read publications that are respectful to all parties and consider all perspectives. So media has an incentive to be inclusive to all their audiences.
That's great. And I don't know if this is the format to do it, but there's a Seattle company called Textio that y'all should check out if you haven't seen them already, that started in the job description space and does something similar. But really, really interesting company and cool folks working on it. And I think they would love to, I'm sure, meet you, especially after you built this.
Really cool.
Thank you.
Just a quick question. So how do you map the offending adjectives to the sort of politically correct words. Is that done by one-to-one mapping, or how are you guys planning to do?
So we create a dictionary in Python, basically just created the non-inclusive term and then equaling its better counterpart term. So basically, anytime that term shows up in a document, we just read through the dictionary, see if it's part of the, if it's included in the dictionary, and then replace it with its more inclusive term.
We also try to have natural language integration as well, in addition to the direct replacement. So in that case, what we did is we essentially captured if someone was a person, and then attached, figured out based on their surrounding context if they were seen negatively within the sentence, and then also looked at the adjective individually to see if it was a negative adjective. And using those, we determined which ones to replace using the passive structure that puts people first.
And then those, go ahead, Rhea.
Okay, along with that, we also in the future, once we want to make this into a Chrome extension and actually available to users, whoever want to use it, but we want to add a personal feature so everyone can add to dictionary. For example, when you're in a Word document. Oh, sorry. I thought when you're in a Word document, you can add a specific word. So if someone has a suggestion being hey, you suggested this, or hey, I see that in my text, this is also a case where you can change this phrase or this word to another thing. I think we can do it in a way that everyone has a personal dictionary set to their extension as well.
If Allison has got any questions, if not, I just have a quick question. What inspired you guys to do this? I mean, did you guys personally had any experience with this?
So last summer, I actually worked at an impact investing fund that focused on giving low interest loans to individuals with disabilities. And it was very interesting to see kind of the systemic barriers they face within society. So that personally got me involved with the issue. But the other facet was during the opening session on Saturday, when the head of equity engineering at Google mentioned the importance of inclusive language in the workplace. That further inspired us to try and find a way to integrate this product within that setting.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Ally Space. Next up, we have Black-owned business Chrome extension.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Corinne, and I'm from the Black-owned business Chrome extension group. Our other members are Aiden, Sarah, Ege, Svet, and Zainab, who is asleep, but everyone else is on this call. And I'm going to share a quick presentation, and then I will switch over to my team member Svet, and he will do a demo. So, yeah, I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, so we worked on basically making a Chrome extension that when you're searching for a product on the website, on the internet that you want to buy, maybe you want pet food or a book, or beauty supplies, instead it will suggest you a Black-owned business that you can support instead. And the reason that we came up with this idea was that lately we've been seeing a lot of social media posts circulating of Black-owned businesses to support, but sometimes when you're scrolling through Instagram, you're not planning on buying anything. So we wanted to have something that in the moment when you're trying to buy something would suggest you a product. And so, yeah, so that's basically what we did. So our goals were to promote new ways to be an ally for the recent BLM movement, support Black-owned businesses as part of mutual aid, and make it easy to support Black-owned businesses based on what the user is already looking for. So the technologies we used, our backend is all in AWS, which is kind of ironic since we're taking some traffic away from Amazon. So we use AWS Lambda, DynamoDB, and Gateway, and then our front end was just in native JavaScript. And next steps that we want is to expand this to more websites. We had a specific API to Amazon to get product information, but we want to expand this to more websites, and we want to do more specific searching based on text instead of just categories. And we also had to manually enter data, so we want to do web scraping so that we can have much more data and do this much more efficiently. So I'm going to stop sharing and we'll do a quick demo. So Svet, if you want to share your screen.
Okay, and is it visible now?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, great. So here we have someone looking up a cat product on Amazon. So they looked up a cat harness. And so what they can do is they can click on this extension button right here. And it's going to search for a similar product. But the only difference is instead of it being sold on Amazon, it's going to be sold by a Black-owned business. So it's going to take a little bit to load.
Yeah, one problem that we had was that our API, the Rainforest API that we used is kind of slow. So that is something that we would need to fix in the future. Yeah, here it is.
Yeah, and then here it says you search for pet supplies. So it's going to recommend a website that is Black-owned that sells pet supplies. So we have Christopher's Dog Treats, for example. So we can just click on this and open up right here. And whatever we want on Amazon, we can also get right here from a Black-owned business.
Yeah, so that's it. Sorry, I know we're over time.
Thank you, judges. Do you have any questions?
A quick question. I think the similar thing. What inspired you guys? Meaning, did anyone ask for this kind of thing, or I mean, I'm just curious.
For me, what inspired me was just going on Instagram and seeing all of the posts compiling links of Black-owned businesses and really wanting to support them, but then realizing that when I actually need to buy a shirt or buy a book, I just sort of like look on Amazon or Urban Outfitters, and I don't think like, oh, let me go to my camera roll and find like an Instagram post that I screenshotted and click on a link. And so we wanted to make it really easy for people to be able to support more like small businesses and Black-owned businesses without like needing, like sort of so that they don't even need to like think about it, just to make it easy for them.
This is, sorry, Ben, go ahead. Do you want me to go? Okay, this is not a question, but just a quick comment similar to the one about Textio. There is a Seattle-based company called The Intentionalist that is doing this kind of thing in the Seattle area. They might be interested in your idea. I don't think they have an online component yet, but something to look into if it's a problem space you're interested in.
Awesome, thank you so much.
I actually just had a comment too. It's funny. I want to applaud you for realizing that you need to catch someone in the moment of purchase intent versus outside of that moment. And I think that's a key problem that most people who are starting any startup or product have to learn the hard way. And so I think the fact that you're going at it right at that moment of transaction, it leaves a variety. It will both help with user adoption, but down the line, if you ever want to figure out a revenue model for this thing, it'll also really help for that. That's all I got.
So much.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have Protest App, which is going to be our last product for the identity track.
Hi there, my name is Julia Tomeno. I worked with Shrey and Araya on Protest App, and today me and Shrey are going to be presenting. All right. Judges, all across the nation, we are at a pivotal point. We are at a pivotal point in history and recently have been seeing a national outcry of social injustice. When a Black man is shot, we have seen time and time again silence to be the end result. My team stood back and believed at the accountability of our nation's system and actions. Now more than ever, people are starting to wake up to our corrupt system from passionately saying things like, hands up, don't shoot, and we the people are calling for change. Our solution was to design an app where people can sign up anonymously in order to protect their identity, and through our app, they will be able to find a protest near them with the exact mileage on a map for a protest of your wanted destination. Judges, the time to be proactive is now. I will now move it on to Shrey to talk about the tech we used.
Yeah, so this is the splash screen, and Julia touched on the anonymous sign-in. That's a really important part of the app because we want to make sure all the users are their location and their information is not exposed to people who might want to target them. So you can anonymously sign in without giving us any information about yourself, and then it'll give you protests in your area with a different mile radius. So you can enter like 20 miles, 30 miles, or whatever, and it'll grab from our database and find all the protests. And then say I'm interested in the first one, I can just click it, and I'll get a map to see where the protest is happening, some details about it, and who's organized it. And we're in the future, we're also going to add like a thing to star. We can star the protest and get notifications when the protest starts or if the protest is updated. And then if you're an organizer of a protest, we've made it really easy to set it up and fill out the details. So if you're an organization, you can sign in and you can create a new protest where you can just give it a name and some description and where it's happening. So I'll just like give an example. And it'll show up. So we're using the Google Maps geolocation API to find the location that the person types in, convert it into coordinates. And you can choose when the protest is happening and just create it. And then if the user were to search for it, they would see it right there. We've also given organizations the option to delete protests. And in the future, we're also thinking of adding things like a police scanner where you can get constant updates on what the police is doing, so then you can stay safe, and also protesting tips. So things like wearing a mask, being respectful to other people around you. And also in countries like we've seen in Hong Kong, there's been a lot of protests going on there, and there like the government is clamping down on them. So we're also going to implement a feature where you can select a custom server that might be locked down to a certain group of people, so you can get access to protests that you might not normally see. And most of the app is built in React.js. Oh, sorry. So most of the app is built in React.js and Expo, and we're using the Firebase Cloud Firestore database to store all of our data and the user's data.
That's great. Nicely done. My first question is one that we very commonly ask any company that is coming in and sort of pitching for venture funding, which is how do people solve this problem today, both on the organizing side to make it known that I'm having a protest here, and on the how do I find a protest if this Saturday I want to show up to a protest somewhere?
So right now, what people do is they usually like go on Facebook and they'll have like events and they can like filter through that. But the issue that we found with that is that like it's like not focused at all. There's like different events going on and you can't really narrow down what you're really looking for. It takes away the focus from the real point of the protest. Like you don't like see what the real idea is. So
I have a question. So how do you distinguish between being anonymous and this platform being hijacked by state actors? I mean, foreign agencies who are just creating trolls, right? I mean, how do you differentiate it?
Yeah.
I mean, in a way that how do you protect the site from being used by trolls?
Yeah, so if you're an anonymous user, you're not allowed to post protests, but you're allowed to view them. But if you're an organization, you can contact us, and then we'll like verify that you're a real organization, and like we'll eventually set up like a system where it can auto recognize if the organization is a troll or not based on the information they give us, and then we can grant them access to create a protest after that.
I'm wondering if Rao was thinking about the other side of the equation, which is people on the end. When something is anonymous, it can be easy for people to hide themselves and to DDoS you or make a protester think that they have a lot of participants showing up and then they don't show up. So there's always this interesting trade-off between anonymity and legitimacy, which is a really tricky thing for startups to solve. My only other question was similar to Ben's, which I think he was getting at, but maybe if you want to share a bit more, is why, if I'm a protest organizer, would I want to use this instead of Facebook?
Exactly.
I think on our app, once our user base grows, you can find motivated people, like people who download our apps will be mostly people who are interested in making change, people who want to empower and who want to change the society. So when you post on Facebook, there's a high chance that you're pitch is not effective enough. But on our app, it's almost guaranteed that your voice is heard, because a lot of people on our app want to make change. So I think our user base facilitates that kind of environment where your protest will be more successful rather than if you post it on Facebook.
Thanks. One, again, I don't know if this is the right forum for this, but I figured it'd probably be interesting for folks listening. The most common phrase in consumer startups is once our user base grows. And most people take it as some sort of like a supposition that will happen. And then, of course, there's all this cool stuff you can do afterwards. And I think the thing that's the hardest thing for any consumer app to do is figure out what's your sort of like secret bootstrap way that you're going to go and get a bunch of users on the platform. That's not just like advertising, or there's probably, especially with you being students in a very passionate group right now, like there's probably clever ways that you can get people to rush to your software, but that's it's incredibly rare that actually works. And so I think thinking deeply about how that will happen is going to be the make or break for the whole thing.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Protest App, and also thank you to the whole identity track. So we have one more track left, the quarantine track, which focuses on the pandemic and all of us staying at home. We'll have Orange Juice Hologram, Deaf Video Calling, and Avoid the Crowd presenting for the quarantine track in that order. So Orange Juice Hologram, go ahead and kick it off.
Hi guys, we're Orange Juice Hologram. And the problem that we want to address is one that we've become very accustomed to during the COVID era. And this is one of video conferencing. I think we've all noticed some video conferencing problems, such as, hey guys, is my mic on? Yo, can you guys see my camera or something like that? But the one that struck us is that video conferencing hasn't substituted face-to-face communication yet. It isn't a tangible or genuine enough human interaction to be able to do what we were doing before the COVID era, and we wanted to make a solution to this.
Okay, cool. So what was our solution? So our solution was inspired by almost like this clickbait video. We're like, is this real? And so we tried it. So essentially the premise is they had this DIY, like this plastic screen. And so this is the thing that we made right here. And it worked really well. We were like, wow, this is actually great. And so the really cool thing about the fact that it's so small and easy to make, we made this out of orange juice, like recycled plastic bottle, which is hence the name of our thing. We're not that creative, but yeah, so it's very accessible, which is very important to allow a lot of people to be able to use this. And it was just really cool. So the next thing that we did is we made a bigger one, just a hackathon. We decided we wanted to have some more fun. And with the hardware in place, we were able to work on some software stuff, which is more expertise.
Sure. So our software component contains 3 parts. And what it does is it's an end-to-end video converter, which can take any general video and convert it to a tiled holographic video, which is conducive to use the pepper cone on to produce that kind of hologram on. So our first step for what we did is we used image segmentation. We used a DeepLab 3 ResNet model to identify people and remove the background, because we noticed that when we had the background in, it was still producing a very 2D experience, such as Zoom, and we wanted to produce a 3D experience.
Yeah, so a little bit more context about what the Peppers cone is that Daniel mentioned. So there's the Peppers Ghost, the light trick that's been used throughout history to kind of make these cool tricks on stage, make it seem like a ghost is appearing next to an actor when it's not actually happening. It's just a cool trick with the light refraction and things like that. So the cone that we're using, this small cone that we have here, or even the bigger plexiglass one that we have here, it's named after that Peppers Ghost trick, which is why it's called a Peppers cone. So I take the output that Daniel gives me with the background removed, and then I do some video tiling with dynamic video tiling with that, maintaining the aspect ratio of the original video and making it compatible with the usage with the Peppers cone that you just saw. So
cool. Then here's just a picture of the thing how it looks like when you set up on your tablet. If obviously you have a big one like us, or you can just do it on your phone with a smaller screen like we did initially. And then while we take questions, I'm going to see if I can get this demo working. So what you see right now is hosted locally on my computer. We also have a website that's up and running that you can check this out at. I can paste a link later. But yeah, so hopefully this doesn't break while we're demoing. Who knows? But yeah, we can take questions now.
So this is incredibly cool, and I'm like a big fan of the like Imagineering work that went into creating Pepper's Ghost for the Haunted Mansion at Disney World or Disneyland. The question I have about this is, in order to get it to spread more quickly, can you make it work with Zoom calls instead of me having to be on a separate video calling network? Like, can I orange juice video a Zoom call when all the other participants are on Zoom and I'm like dynamically stripping out their background and watching this like sweet Star Wars thing at my desk at home, but they don't have to know?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that's definitely the direction we're trying to head. I forgot to mention it, so thanks for reminding us. But yeah, so right now, the setup is like they have to upload a file, which is kind of asynchronous and not that great. And so like this is what generates afterwards. But ideally, if we can make it fast enough, then we can hook it up to just your camera, right? And then we can display, like you can have a separate display that like if our thing is fast enough, right? It can display the Pepper's cone like image that we create. And so you can basically be live. But that's a question of just how fast we can do it. And so that's why part of why we try to deploy on App Engine, to try to take advantage of a faster computer. My computer sucks, but stuff like that. So yeah, great question. It's definitely the direction we want to head.
Yeah, I think the main time concern is definitely the background removal that we're using. Since we didn't have GPUs, like it could, like a 10-second video could be taking more than a minute. And I think if we were able to like deploy on some serverless architecture and utilize like more powerful GPUs, that could be sped up quite a bit. And we've tried to actually hack and like solve this problem a little bit by downsampling the FPS to just 25 FPS if given like a video that's higher than that frame rate. Cool. Do we got any other questions?
I like the hardware component. I have a soft spot for things in the physical world, so I like that there's a tangible piece of the project. It's very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's very DIY, and you can make it yourself. So just order some plexiglass on Amazon, or even just look like we literally just made this first thing because we had an orange juice bottle lying around. Like I literally just finished my cup of orange juice, and then they used the bottle that I just finished to make the original Pepper's cone that we had. So that was interesting.
If you guys produce like you should put together like a nice 30 to 60 second video of it working with large hardware. Like I'd love to share that around. It's a super fun project.
For sure.
Okay, train forever. Great, thank you.
Thank you, Orange. Okay, next up we have deaf video calling.
Julian, go.
Just start. All right, hello. I'm Julianne, and I'm on the deaf video calling team, and I'm going to be presenting with my partner Jeffrey. So, with the current pandemic going on, the culture of video calling has become really prevalent in all of our lives, and we started to think about like the different types of people that use video calling. And then we realized that it is not really something that is friendly towards people that are hard of hearing. So here's just like a diagram to just reiterate that point, that like when people are speaking over video call, it may be hard for deaf people to not like to understand what they're saying. And then conversely, if deaf people want to like sign back or like anything like that, then like people that the other person may have a hard time understanding what they're saying as well. So there's just kind of like a communication barrier that they have to get past. So yeah, that is just reiterating the point. So we did some competitive analysis to see what kind of things people are already doing out there. And then we found that Microsoft is currently doing a live captioning for their video call. But then we did some research on kind of some of the situations that deaf people experience. And then we found that some people who were born deaf are not actually as fluent in English. So they may still have like a hard time keeping up with the conversation, even with the live captioning. So that kind of like helped us form our idea of like, how can we help hearing people understand ASL? And we just wanted to tackle like, how can we get deaf people to understand English in a way that isn't English captioning. So I'm going to hand over to Jeffrey so that he can talk a bit more about our prototype.
Yeah. So our general idea was to have standard video calling so that people can see each other, because we do want that face-to-face interaction as we're all in quarantine right now. And we came up with two ideas. One, to continue with the live transcription so that people who are hard of hearing can read, as well as converting the ASL into text so that people who can hear but can't understand ASL can understand. Yeah, that's the general idea. We don't have any time left, so I guess we can talk about more if people have questions.
Yeah, one question I have is, so correct me if I'm wrong in my understanding here, but you're using computer vision to do the translation from sign language to the actual text. How much existing code is there or APIs to do that that you can just borrow versus how much do you have to roll your own?
So we were able to find a decent amount online. We just scoured GitHub and found a couple of just projects that other people have done. There are also a better translation, ways of translating ASL into English using different gloves. So most of that was ported over. We just needed to get the actual image from the video chat, put that into the projects that other people have already done that were open source.
And is
That's
this
great.
something that, oh, sorry, Ben, go ahead.
Just a quick follow-up. Is all the data that's trained on open source too, so you're able to use the models?
I'm not sure if the data was open source. We were just able to find the projects online and play around with them a bit. Yeah.
Cool.
And just because you ran out of time, how much of this were you able to get working in your prototype?
Yeah. So we ended up coming into a decent number of snags along the way because one of our coders was busy the entire 24 hours and one person was in a separate time zone. We ended up being able to get the video part and we were in the process of setting up the server so that we can send the data between video to text, as well as video to text and audio to text, but we weren't able to get any of the translation done.
Gotcha. Just two comments to add, which are interesting, that I think everyone who builds a product should do, but often don't, is one, I really thought it was cool that you guys started with a competitive analysis and user research. Like you actually went out to find a problem that needed solving and A, made sure somebody else wasn't already solving it, and B, that people actually had this problem. And then I also liked that you scoured for open source projects before just going off and building it on your own. Even now in my company, we're always telling engineers, like, don't assume it doesn't exist. Almost certainly it probably does, and you should use open source components whenever possible. And if not, build the open source component yourself. So those are good product management behaviors.
Thank you. Additionally, to your point about scouring user research, we also found that since ASL, a future project that we wanted to add on to this was converting text to ASL, because we found that, as Julianne mentioned, a lot of people who start off hard of hearing early in life can't understand text.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Deaf Video Calling. Our last thing for the quarantine track, and to wrap up the top winners or top finalists, is Avoid the Crowd.
Hi there. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So my partner Sam's going to share his screen here. Okay. So our project is Avoid the Crowd. It's like a web application, which is meant to help you socially distance better. So let's say you want to go grocery shopping, and then you want to make sure to avoid the like store which is more busy. So you can search up grocery store, and then it would basically find the closest grocery stores to you, and then using like live cell phone signal data, it can show you how busy that place is at the current time. So these are just the nearby grocery stores, and then it says like some of these are above average, so maybe you can consider avoiding these ones, for example. And then it works on pretty much any type of like item. So like you could say like food or something. And then it should load up that as well. So then all the data is right there, basically. And that's kind of like the idea for our project.
And the cool thing for this is that basically it doesn't matter what location you are in. At least we tried it for our area, but as long as the user accepts location, then it will find any of the closest places near where they're living. So it's not just in Mukilteo area for our case. It could potentially be expanded to everywhere. So I'm gonna go through a couple more examples. We also, just did this for fun. So
yeah.
So we're just going through. It's pretty simple right now, but we thought that it would be that it can expand and we can use add more features to have like more times and different descriptions for each one. But
yeah, like adding more visuals about how busy it is versus like different other times.
But keeping it simple like this makes the app very simple to use, and it gives the user options and without too much cruft.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Any questions?
Yeah, nicely done. The first one is sort of the obvious. Where's the data come from?
So yeah, we are using an API called Best Time, and this API just came out 3 months ago, and it's basically sourced from cell phone data from all around the US. We weren't specified about what kind of cell phone data and which carriers provided, but we know that it's some type of cell phone data.
Got it. And so I do this today with the sort of built-in Google Maps. How busy is this area right now? And it's marginally useful. Have you compared this against that or other ways of determining if a place is busy or not?
Yeah. So actually, we did look up the how busy the thing for Google, and that was kind of our inspiration. But we realized that Google didn't really place that much emphasis on it, and so they would put it for each of their locations, not all, but most of their locations, but they wouldn't really put it front and center. And the difference between what Google does and what we do is that we actively look for the stores around and we compare all of them. While if you want to do the same for Google, you would have to look up every single store or every single restaurant individually, which will take a lot more time, and it would just waste your time a lot more, while we just concatenate we do all the searching for you, and you just have to have one search and you can see all that. Yeah.
So Samuel, what's the lag in the data that you get when compared to the actual real time?
It should just be hourly. So
so meaning if it's hourly, then maybe it'll be outdated, right? I mean,
that's definitely a possibility and a good point. The data, the website, if you paid for like a platinum subscription or something, which is like $60 a month, it gives you like real time data. Yeah. But we didn't have access to that. We just had the free tier, so that's why we only got the hourly. So
yeah, we can definitely expand to make it that we can add the real time data.
Okay. Got it.
So are you stack ranking these by location, proximity, or by busyness? Or, I mean, I guess a cool extension would be able to choose how you filter them, right? By which ones are closest to me, and
that's actually one of the design choices we were thinking about. To make it simple, we just sorted it by least busiest to most busiest, just to start off. But we were also considering like having some sort of a weighting algorithm, even just to say, okay, maybe I want to value closeness and busyness in a sense, if that makes sense. And then having some sort of option which lets you like sort by different filters, as you said.
Cool.
All right, I think that wraps up the quarantine track, and then that also wraps up all our track finalists. So if everyone could give yourself a round of applause, we're super, super proud of you. It's been super cool to see all these fun projects. So what's gonna happen right now is I'm gonna move the 3 judges and James into a breakout room, and they're gonna have some time to deliberate. During this deliberation time, we're going to be presenting some of our prizes, and then also our sponsors will be presenting some prizes too. So I am going to start screen sharing here. So I'd like to intro Crystal. Crystal's going to be talking about our no-code parallels and then our first-time winner as well.
Hey, hello everyone, I'm Crystal. Can you guys hear me? Good. Okay, great. So thanks for being here. Something new that we've done with Hack'20 this year is really put an initiative on helping our first-time hackers to grow. We really pride ourselves on being a really inclusive community, and we really love to help support our hackers and help them develop their skills, because we think that the hackathon process is one of the best ways that you can grow as a technologist. So this year we have 3 parallel tracks. So these go alongside our 3 main tracks: identity, quarantine, and campus. So for our first one, our purple and gold track is the parallel to the campus track. So I would like to announce the winner of this one to be being POBS. So it stands for Police Officer Bias Simulator. So the people on this team were Payne, Audrey, Gerald, and Garson. So I want to say congratulations to you guys. The description of POBS is POBS simulates an officer's encounter by allowing them to use an AR application function to see a geographically simulated scenario in real life in real time. After reading a scenario, they are forced to use their own initial instincts to respond to the situation. After they have made their decision, they will be shown the impact of their actions and decision on the parties involved. And we decided that this was a great application for the campus track because we all know that police brutality has been something in the news, and it's been very prevalent in our community. So I really appreciate how this group has put together a project that helps to address this and uses technology as well. So congratulations to you all. And for our second prize for parallel, this was going along with the identity track, so color the movement. And extraordinarily, POBS was also the winner for this track as well. So again, we really appreciate your guys' really big focus on addressing the issues that are really important to our community today. And for our last parallel track, I would like to congratulate Escape. So for the half-baked banana bread winner. So this is the parallel for the quarantine track. And I personally really resonated with this app. And for their description, their problem statement is, how can we help people maintain a healthy routine during the time of social distancing by establishing a digital platform that allows them to connect and interact with others in a meaningful and fun way? So their project is an app that really helps to connect people during COVID times, and through allowing chat rooms and creating opportunities to meet new people that share passions. So I know that quarantine, since we're all physically in our own homes, it's hard to connect with others and meet new people. So it's really great that you guys have found this technology or developed this technology to facilitate that, to help us feel a lot less alone in these trying times. So the people on that team is Yuchi, Fanchi, Ifan, and Zo. So congratulations to you all. Okay, and then, sorry, can you go to the next slide? Okay, so this next one is Crate or Kennel. So this is our award for first timers. So we kind of call it the puppy track. So we're really excited this time, as 50% of our applicants and our participants were first timers at a hackathon. So we're really honored that you guys chose Hack'20 to be your first one. So we have 3 winners for this, and I'm going to go over what they are in no particular order. Again, I'm really proud of you guys for submitting your projects, because I know that hackathons can be pretty tiring, and I'm impressed that you guys were able to stick it through with us. So proud of you guys on that. Okay, so the first one is Monumental Change. So this is an educational augmented reality application to highlight the hidden history of historical monuments. So this project was submitted by Randep Sarah, Tanner, and Zach, and Matthew. So their description is it's a mobile app that allows users to see all monuments and historical sites near them. When they're close to a particular site, they can interact with it in AR, viewing BIPOC sourced information on its history, local discussions, and opportunities to get involved in petitions or other forms of historical site activism. We chose AR because we felt it would prompt meaningful interactions of these sites, recontextualizing online discussions and information as being physically part of the world around us. So I think this is super cool. In their video, they kind of show the George Washington statue on the UW campus, and I think this is a really great connection. It's really important that we learn the history about the monuments around us because they're not just there to be pretty, they really have some sort of meaningful historical significance that we should learn more about. Okay, and then next one is Culture Fit. So this was our second Create Your Channel winner. It's super cool that you guys created this with it only being your first hackathon. So this project is created to empower underrepresented people to share their lived experiences at companies. So this project was created by Jasmine, Grishma, Zuya, an anonymous user, and Chelsea Bishop. So what Culture Fit does is it gives underrepresented people a platform to share their lived experiences so they can freely speak their truth. Culture Fit allows underrepresented people to learn about the culture of a company from the perspective of underrepresented people. So it's like Glassdoor, but for POC in a much safer space, and their goal is to create a much more meaningful community. So congratulations to you all too. And then our last Create Your Kennel winner is KiwiLink. So their tagline is tired of anti-social academics. KiwiLink is the ultimate UW study buddy finder site. Friend your way to the top. I think this is really cute because I especially feel for the freshmen coming into college. I know the classes are already really intimidating in person with 300 people. So I imagine as a freshman, like coming in, it'd be really hard to find friends. So I think this is a really cool idea. I hope you guys continue with it. So the people on this team is Winston, Victor, and June. So what KiwiLink does, it's the ultimate UW buddy finder, a study buddy finder site. It's focused and it's specific. The KiwiLink users are identified by their classes and majors and a short bio. So kind of like online dating for study buddies, I guess. The best part of KiwiLink is that it uses an algorithm to match users with other users in a relevant way with the For You page. Users can quickly find other people that have the matching class or major. And then they have some explore page, so you can have a more free type of unfiltered social setting. So I really hope you guys continue with this, market it in the UW pages. I think it would help the freshmen a lot. So that wraps up the winners of our Create Your Kennel winner. I'm really proud of you guys for coming through with these projects. This is really awesome.
Thank you so much, Crystal. She said it super well. We're really, really happy that we had so many first timers at the hackathon and some people into design also. So we hope you enjoyed the premiere of those tracks, and something we'll probably continue in the future too. Now we're going to be moving on to our sponsor prizes. Thank you to all of our lovely sponsors for being here and supporting you guys, and for all the mentors also. We're going to start with Echo AR, and Echo AR couldn't be here today, so I'm going to be presenting their prize. The Echo AR Best Use of the Echo AR Platform Prize is going to Coach Ally. They build an interactive AR virtual classroom and video call app. Coach Ally will receive a $50 Amazon gift card and a 1-month free business tier access to the Echo AR platform, as well as a feature in the Echo AR newsletter to share with investors and the AR VR ecosystem. So congratulations to Coach Ally. Next, we're moving on to Cloud. You guys want to go ahead and unmute? Hi, I don't know if you're there, Brian.
Yes, I'm here. Can you see my video? Oh, yeah, you can. Hey, everyone. So I first off want to say thank you for everyone who submitted the best use of project into our API challenge. And for the first place winners, we've decided Dr. Fit was our first place choice, and then second place was Miranda. And so congratulations to those two winning teams. For the first place winning team, Dr. Fit, you guys will receive a Patagonia backpack, a trophy, and also as well a water bottle, and we'll be sending that out later on the week. And for Miranda, you guys will all receive a Google Mini. So pretty awesome, pretty exciting. And on to our second category challenge, the best use of the COVID-19 Hackathon Fund. So these are multiple winners. There's no first place. It's just a collection of winners, and you guys will receive an email later on in the week asking you guys to apply for our hackathon fund. So it was Dr. Fit, Is My Food Ready, Kiwi Links, Smart Class, Safe Eats, Edify, Physiotherapy Aid, Dog Maps, Safe Business Finder, and Mass Detector. All of you guys have been accepted to apply for the fund, so definitely be on the lookout for those emails. And all these projects cover the areas of healthcare, life sciences, economic impact, social engagement, and education and distant learning. And all of you guys will be have the possibility to win up to, or to get up to, $5,000 in Google Cloud credits and work alongside a Google mentor to complete your guys' projects by December 31st. So congratulations to all of our winners.
Thank you, Brian. Next up, we have Microsoft.
Hey there. So the winner of the prize for Azure for Social Good is the Helper team. I want to make sure, first of all, to highlight the fact that there was some fantastic submissions. It was a little bit of a debate, but Helper really did stand up above the rest. They used Azure Functions. They used Cosmos DB to access a Mongo database all inside of Azure to create this fantastic app that would allow people to go in and mark different issues throughout their neighborhood. And this could be something to do with maybe a dangerous situation or something that might just simply need to be fixed, or pretty much like anything else in between. So it's a fantastic app, and that team will be able to donate $1,000 to a charity of the team's choosing, and we'll go ahead and, of course, connect afterwards. So congratulations to Team Helper.
Thank you. Chef.
Hi, everyone. Thanks again for all the submissions. It was amazing to really be able to see some of the work that y'all have done within a 24-hour time period. It always baffles me when people can stay up late and get amazing things done. We reviewed all of the submissions, and we chose to award POBE, so Police Officer Bias Simulation. Chef is really big on bias training internally. And so looking at that app, it was very interesting. And we were like, this is also something we could use internally and different companies could benefit from. So congratulations. And we'll be connecting with the folks on that team to hand out their prizes as well.
Thank you. Awesome. So next up, we have a 1517 grant. They also couldn't be here, probably announcing their prize. So the winner of the 1517 grant is going to get a $1,000 grant and also $10,000 in AWS credit. The winner of the grant is My Food Ready, which is a platform designed to help small businesses with accessibility and with social distancing. So congratulations, Is My Food Ready. Voice Flow, you're up. Okay, it looks like we might not have the person from Voice Flow, but if you're here, let me know and we'll loop back to you. Next, we have Barn to Door.
Hey everyone, my name is Sam on behalf of the Barn to Door team, and the winner of the Barn to Door prize is Platis. We loved their use of machine learning to help detect diseases for plants. We also especially loved their slogan, which was "Plants need doctors too." And as a very farming-oriented startup here in the Seattle area, we agree plants are super important. So congratulations to Platis.
Thank you, Sam. All right, now we have Emma Leitch announcing their prizes.
Hey everyone, it's been great to be here this weekend. We've seen a ton of amazing projects, but it's now time to announce our winners. right as Taylor goes on to the next slide, because first up we have our best domain from domain.com. We had some really, really good ones, actually. It was quite difficult, but it ended up going to a project where there is a real applicable use case. It was something a bit different, and it also was fully set up on the domain. So a big congratulations to Is My Food Ready? You had ismyfoodready.online. Your project was awesome, so well done. We've also got my favorite prize category of the hackathon, the Draw an Octocat, Win an Octocat competition. Now, this weekend, we've got some really good ones. Huge shout out to a person who managed to, in about a minute, draw probably the best, worst Octocat I've ever seen. It was beautiful. But actually, our winner ended up going to this wonderful creation. Press the button, Taylor. This wonderful Animal Crossing creation of Tom Noctocat, which is awesome. I'll send you a DM on Twitter and it'll get you your very own Octocat sent to you. But even if you didn't win a prize this weekend, don't worry, we're still going to be enjoying our wonderful slow shipping system for you, because every single person who submitted a project to DevPost this weekend is totally eligible to go and get an identity sticker. The one on this slide is actually an old one. You'll get a personalized one for Hack'20. So make sure you go and claim yours at hackp.ac/hack20 stickers. I'll go and pop that in Slack as well, just one last time. And on a final note, if you've enjoyed Hack'20, it has been awesome having you all here. It's been great to see you all. But check out mlh.io to find more MLH member events just like this. DevHacks is coming up too in October, so make sure you go to that. And I will hopefully see you at one of them in the future.
Thank you, Jackie. Okay, congratulations to all the sponsor prize winners and also to our no code and our first time winners. So at this time, our judges are deliberating, and I think everyone who's on this Zoom call who presented, you probably gave them a really tough choice because they still haven't come back yet. So what's gonna happen is Nick is gonna pull us off the live stream for those of you who are watching live. We're gonna take a hopefully 10-minute break. And then we'll be back live when the judges are ready to present. So Nick, just let us know when we're good. Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. We're super excited to be announcing our Hack'20 track winners. Before we get to that, we had one more prize to announce from one of our sponsors, VoiceFlow. So VoiceFlow's prize is going to go to Drift, Dr. Fit. I read that incorrectly. It's a platform that offers an ideal way to monitor patients while they're in quarantine. And so the device monitors vital body pressure and heart rate and blood temperature and gives those pieces of information to doctors so they can use them too. So the winners of that will be winning an Echo Dot. Congratulations, Dr. Fit. Okay, so from there, we are super excited to have our final judges back and announcing our track winners. So I'm going to be presenting and starting off with the campus track.
Rao, did you want to come off mute?
Yeah, hi there. I just want to give you some background on how we kind of selected the winner. So we had 4 categories under which we evaluated most of the ideas. One was originality, second one was commercial viability, third is benefit to end users, fourth is pitch quality, and also one final criteria we used is how finished the product was. So based on this criteria, I think all of us, all the 3 judges, I think myself, Allison, and Ben, we agreed that the winner for this campus track is actually Dog Maps. We felt that the idea scored high on originality and benefit to end users. And we especially like the fact that they actually built the website and also build the mobile page. We felt that it was more like a finished product, and the team put in a lot of effort to make it happen. So for Campus Track, Dog Maps, congratulations.
Thank you, Rao. Next up, we have the identity track.
Cool. So I'm going to announce the identity track winner. And as Rao described, we used the same criteria across all categories. So all 3 of us were in strong agreement that the winner of the identity track is ally.space. We thought that this was, again, a really well-built, well-presented, fully working product that we could see ourselves using today. There was a lot of thought put into the use case. I think some of the team members have felt the need for this kind of product themselves, which in my opinion is always the best inspiration for any project or product, is solving a problem that you yourself have seen in the wild. And I think that you've thought a lot about your different use cases as well, who might use this and for what purpose, and really put a lot of thought into who your users are and what value they would get from the product. So congratulations to Ally Space.
Thank you, Allison. And last up, we have the quarantine track.
All right. So for the quarantine track, I'm going to tip my hand here and say I've been spending a lot of time on Zoom video, as all of you have, and a new cool way to get off of that and change it up a little bit would be really cool. So the winner of this track is Orange Juice Hologram. This was the only one that I was truly a 10 out of 10 on for originality, and I think other judges echoed similar sentiment. And for this one, in addition to the originality, we thought that while there wasn't a final demo that did work, being able to see all the work that you had done physically building the prototype from plexiglass, seeing how you evolved sort of a idea that was in existence on the internet to building your own sort of video processing pipeline, including stripping out the backgrounds, including real-time transforms. There's frankly real potential to go to market with some kind of product that is definitely premium and potentially more novelty than a permanent thing. But who knows? Maybe we'll all move off of Zoom and into Star Wars here at some point in the near future. So congratulations. We thought your team had a really fun solution to a problem we're all experiencing.
Thank you so much, Ben. Congratulations to all the track winners. We're super happy for you. And thank you also to Ben and Allison and Rao. If everyone could just give them a round of applause for being awesome judges and giving super great feedback and advice also. The track winners will be reaching out to you. You'll receive mentorship from Pioneer Square Labs, our title sponsor. And we'll also be donating $300 in your name to a charity organization of your choice. So congratulations. Really great job, everyone. Okay, we're about wrapping up now, so I'm going to pass it over to Trinity to close us out and tell you about a couple exciting things we have planned.
Thanks, Taylor. Okay, so first off, we want to announce our next event, our flagship event, Hack'20 2020. For all of you guys that are here, you guys probably heard of us from our flagship event, and we're preparing a really good event for October 17th through 18th. So please stay tuned into our socials to hear more about it. I'm going to pass it off to, I believe, our tech team, who has another special announcement.
Yeah, thank you all so much for experimenting in our reality world over the weekend with us. Especially speaking from the organizer's perspective, it was tremendously exciting to be able to jump in sort of ad hoc voice calls with you and just chat and meet the people around us in a way that would not have been possible without the technology investment we made. We're really excited to continue to invest in this for Hacks this fall and discover ways to have you interact with our sponsors and build even cooler experiences that again allow us to form even deeper relationships over the course of our Hacks event later this year. Specifically, I'm really excited to try and bring team formation into this world and have people meet each other and form teams in this experience. We're really excited, and thank you so much for participating in this experiment with us, and we're excited to see where it goes. Back to you, Trinity.
Cool. Thanks, Adam. So again, follow us on our socials. You'll be able to hear more about what we have in store for Hacks. We have a lot in terms of speakers, panelists, our sponsors. We're really excited. So you can connect with us here. I'm going to direct you guys. We have a feedback survey that we would really appreciate if you guys filled out. Again, Hack'20 was our first time doing a virtual hackathon. So we've already learned lots, but if you have anything from your experiences, mentors or hackers that you want to share, please do that. We'll drop it in the announcements channel. And I guess just to wrap up the whole event, I know I can speak on behalf of our team. Thank you so much for being a part of our event, whether you're a hacker or a mentor, sponsor, speaker, panelist. A lot of people volunteered their time and their resources and their energy to make this event happen. So if you have time, drop a thank you in the mentors channel. We really appreciate the mentors taking their time out of this really nice weekend in Seattle to be here with us. And yeah, we put a lot of thought and energy into this event, and it's only going to help us make a better event for Hacks. I hope. I know we share that about half of our participants this weekend were first-time hackers, and so that's really exciting for us that we're able to create this experience for you guys. So again, we'd love to hear any feedback you guys have. Please connect with us. We're really excited for what's in store for Hacks in October. So thank you, everyone, and we hope to see you in October. Bye, guys.